Alexander Sokolov. We are starting our special workshop on foresight in BRICS countries. We started this workshop around 8 or 9 years ago, as I remember, and we repeated it annually. And now BRICS is much bigger than it was when we started. Now we have 11 states there, which are very different. And I hope that the experience in BRICS countries will be more rich, will be more diverse, and we are looking forward to see what is going on in different places. I'm very grateful that you joined us, our speakers, probably because we have many speakers, and time is limited. So I will ask you to each of you to present not more than 12 minutes, 13 minutes, so that we have a few minutes for questions, at least for one question. So our first presentation will be made by my colleague Sergey Revakin. It will be devoted to S&T collaboration between BRICS countries and results of a bibliometric analysis. So Sergey, the floor is yours. Please go ahead. If you could make it full screen, it would be helpful. Yeah, great. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander. Distinguished colleagues, esteemed participants of the conference. The BRICS countries are prominent players in the global economic, scientific, and technological landscape, accounting for approximately 28% of global GDP, but at the same time having almost 49% of publications indexed in major scientific database and almost 59% of citations. The data reflects the growing economic importance of BRICS nations and emerging economics in the global economy, but at the same time, it emphasizes the fact that scientific capacity of BRICS countries exceeds their economic potential. In recent years, intra-BRICS scientific output has grown markedly, both in volume and thematic coherence, reflecting an emerging powerful knowledge of ecosystem. In my presentation today, I will offer a bibliometric analysis of scientific collaboration partners among BRICS countries over the last 10 years. By examining co-authorship, trends, citation dynamics, disciplinary focus, and institutional partnerships using major databases such as Scopus and Cybele, we aim to quantify the depth, evolution, and structural characteristics of its cooperation and assess its potential to catalyze a more balanced global scientific landscape. Thus, by examining these metrics closely, we can identify areas where further investment could yield substantial returns while addressing pressing challenges that we face globally today. As I mentioned earlier today, scientific and technological cooperation among BRICS nations has evolved into a strategic pillar of their multilateral engagement. This collaboration is driven by shared development goals and mutual interest in technological development. Over the past decades, scientific cooperation within BRICS has experienced a robust upward trajectory. Between 2015 and 2024, joint publication volumes demonstrate 5 times growth in intra-BRICS cooperation versus 2 times growth in BRICS cooperation versus 2 times growth in BRICS world collaboration. That means that partnership within BRICS countries are developing more actively than external relationship with other countries of the world. Despite this growth, collaboration intensively remains uneven across countries. China and India contribute the most to the joint publication with BRICS countries, while Ethiopia, the United Arab Emirates, and Russia have the highest proportion of publication in cooperation with BRICS countries. China, India, and China-Russia are the leading pairs of countries in terms of the number of publications among the BRICS countries. Engineering is the largest subject area, while computer science is both large and fast growing, and medicine is both large and high quality area of publications. Joint research initiatives, co-authored publications, and coordinated investments in these priority sectors form the backbone of BRICS science diplomacy today. At the same time, there is a shift in research trends of BRICS publications in 2022, 2024, in comparison to 2015 and 2017 trends. The research focus of BRICS countries has evolved from fundamental physics and experiments and theoretical physics in 2015-2017 to an interdisciplinary approach in comparison studies in healthcare, digital technologies, artificial intelligence, material science, and sustainable development in 2022-2024. We see this reflection actually of the strengths in the key topics of research in BRICS countries. Here are the top 20, and five of them are quite visible globally in terms of their share of intra-BRICS joint publications in the total number of the world publication for 2022-2024. Actually, joint publications is the effort of many stakeholders, including universities, program committees, and many other stakeholders. The BRICS Science, Technology, and Innovation Framework Program serves as a key platform for joint research projects, mobility of scientists, and capacity building. Additional initiatives include Big Data and Artificial Intelligence project that is focused on large-scale and data processing and machine learning applications. We should also mention International High-Performance Computing Laboratory that is pooling supercomputing capacities to tackle large-scale scientific tasks. And of course, there are different scholarship programs and educational grants for students and researchers to study or conduct internship at partner institutions. And that efforts deserves the recognition. Let me thank the key collaborating organizations that we see in publications of China, India, Indonesia, the United Arab Emirates, Brazil, Iran, Ethiopia, South Africa, Egypt, and Russia for their contribution to inter-BRICS collaboration. The four scientific and technological cooperation among BRICS countries represent an important tool for strengthening economic ties and addressing global issues. Integrating efforts from member states in science and technology will ensure sustained growth and competitiveness globally. Successful implementation depends on strong leadership, governmental backing, and strategic planning. Thank you for your attention, and special thanks to my team of Center for Strategies and Programs of Higher School of Economics University for their efforts in preparation of this research and presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. Any questions from participants? You were very fast.
I try to do my best.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so probably we'll pressures. Yeah. Yeah, great. Could you please make it full screen, your presentation? Great. So we can see it. We don't hear it yet. You are muted, I guess.
Thank you, Prof. Maybe let me unmute first, then share my screen.
Okay, good.
Thank you, and greetings from South Africa. My name is Precious Luketa, and I'll be sharing South Africa's journey towards institutionalizing foresight. To give you a sense of where we're headed in this presentation, I'll begin with an overview of South Africa's STI vision, which is our broader framework that sets the long-term policy trajectory. Then on number 2, we will discuss our 2018 National Foresight Exercise, highlighting its influence on policy and some key outcomes. Then we'll move to point 4, where we'll explore our emerging thinking towards institutionalizing foresight, looking at our preliminary plans to build systems and capacities for the future. Finally, we'll touch on the challenges and opportunities that we anticipate as we work towards embedding foresight into our national system of innovation. And this quote by President Mandela reminds us that what truly matters is the difference that we make in people's lives. Our foresight trajectory is anchored in South Africa's white paper on STI, which envisions STI enabling sustainable and inclusive development in a changing world. The decadal plan operationalizes this vision with the theme deepening knowledge economy for enhanced socioeconomic impact. And our minister, Prof. Nzimande, has called for STI to be placed at the center of government, education, society, the economy, and even our relationship with the planet. This is a call that the department has since adopted as its mantra. And now in 2018, and some of you may be aware of this study, but in 2018, the National Advisory Council on Innovation, which advises government on all matters that relate to the national system of innovation, led a series of foresight exercises. The exercises explored the future of STI in South Africa, focusing on how these could improve the quality of life for South Africans, support sustainable development, and drive inclusive economic growth. The study identified 9 domains, which you'd see in the blue box, including circular economy, health, innovation, education for the future, and the others. These domains were immediately adopted into the STI Decadal Plan as national STI priorities that you would see in the purple box. And it also informed or helped in framing South Africa's 3 societal grand challenges, which you'll see in the green box. These are climate change and environmental sustainability, including circular economy, education for the future, and the future of society. This process for us stands out as a major achievement, which demonstrated how foresight then moved from just being analysis to directly influence national policy directions and set long-term priorities for our national system of innovation. The slide here highlights progress under the health innovation priority. It focuses on the vaccine manufacturing program in the blue box, which was an immediate application of insights from the 2018 Foresight study. The program's core objective is to reduce dependence on imported vaccines by building local capacity for vaccine development and manufacturing, ensuring that the country, and of course by extension Africa, is better prepared for future disease outbreaks and able to meet local health needs. When COVID-19 struck and vaccines supplies across Africa were severely constrained, the value of our foresight study then came to life, enabling South Africa to respond rapidly and even produce ventilators locally to meet the national demand at the time. NACI, the National Advisory Council on Innovation, is actually the agency or the statutory body that has been tasked also with institutionalizing foresight and providing strategic intelligence for the South African national system of innovation. This includes building the capability to conduct regular foresight exercises, identifying emerging technologies and assessing their social and economic impacts. Emerging thinking points to establishing a national foresight hub using the hub and spokes model, which we are, of course, proposing, that would consider existing competencies and capacities that are already existing in the country, as you've already heard from our universities and research councils. And here in this proposed model, NACI would act as a hub which would lead strategy, coordinate funding, and conduct national foresight exercises. And the universities and research centers, as well as some institutions that would be identified, would then act as spokes, providing expertise, data, research, and training. But like we said, this is still sort of emerging thinking towards institutionalizing. Now, if we were to institutionalize, we anticipate several challenges and opportunities from which lessons and gaps can be deduced. Firstly, in South Africa, we have a very small foresight community with limited cross-sector networks. We have identified the need for a national postgraduate foresight exercise program to build capacities in the system and provide us with that skills pipeline that would be able to then use. International partnerships on foresight need to be strengthened. We have also identified gaps, our infrastructure gaps. For example, we do not have a central data facility to support foresight work. And while at least in our case, foresight is not yet recognized as a formal career path. Therefore, talent attraction and retainment becomes somewhat a challenge, something that we need to think of and address in the system. The opportunities we've identified include building on existing capabilities to avoid duplications in the systems and to leverage existing competencies in the systems, as we discussed earlier, investing in people and skills, including dedicating a core team to foresight work. You know, that's 15% of employees that would work on the future full time. And of course, embedding foresight into policy processes to ensure their legitimacy, funding allocations, and prioritization, fostering partnerships, as we've touched already, at a national, regional, and international level to enable peer learning, co-creation, and mutually beneficial talent exchange programs is something that we find to be very important. And last but not least, demonstrating the value of foresight to decision makers to secure ongoing support and resources is also quite critical. Thank you, Program Director. I am joined by Dr. Mlungi Sicele, the Director General of our department, who may also share a few words on the journey. But we also, I've seen in the room, we have Dr. Petra Sledaba, who was also part of this study together with yourself, Chair. So thank you so much.
Okay, Precious, thank you very much. It was really exciting. Are there any questions from audience? Okay, probably I will ask you, because this Monday I had a Zoom session with a few people from NATI, including newly appointed executive director there, and I was impressed how South Africa looks forward to establishing really national, really effective and efficient national foresight program or foresight infrastructure. You mentioned the hub. What do you think? Because I know many players now, because we saw one presentation earlier today, another one will be in the next session from South Africa. So we see that there is already kind of some background for foresight studies. What do you think? Who might be the key players in this in this system of national foresight, science, technology, innovation, foresight, first of all, but not necessarily only science, technology, innovation, probably broader. What do you think? Who will be the key players, key stakeholders at this foresight system?
Thank you. So we're thinking we could use the universities and research councils, because we already have some competences that are based there. So those would be our first stakeholders, if I can put it that way, that would fit into the hub. I see that DG is also here. Maybe you'd like to add.
Sorry? More questions. Mulungisi, you are here. Great to see you.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you all. Apologies for joining a bit late. You know, we have other responsibilities here. No, Precious has dealt with the questions adequately. So I could only add, Alexander, that of course there are few institutions with the foresight exercise capability in South Africa, or more broadly, they are working in different areas, and we are hoping that, of course, as a start, we need to pull them together. We've already started discussions with some of them and encourage them to start organizing themselves while the policy processes are actually being driven, because we really want to have the capability which will be at arm's length with government, so that there is a bit of autonomous space that colleagues could be able to focus and ask critical questions, some of which may not even be pleasurable to us as government, but that's why foresight exercise, its usefulness will become critical. But also to make sure that they build relations with international partners, and this conference always provides that capability and that opportunity. So we really interested, and we're looking forward to colleagues as well to share their best experiences with us in terms of how to set up such capability and to make sure that it grows and become a powerful institution in the near future. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Okay.
We missed to be there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you are very busy, so we highly appreciate your engagement in our conference. One more question to Mulungisi. Mulungisi, if you are still with us. Okay. Do you see how do you see the collaboration between BRICS countries in foresight, in science, technology, foresight in particular? How it can be developed in the near future? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think for me, if we can have a common initiative, that will be great. 1 or 2 concrete projects will be much more useful in terms of strengthening that relationship. I think some time back you had proposed, and some of us supported the idea of conducting a BRICS foresight exercise, collectively, to make sure that at least through that exercise we learn and share, knowledge, and then we can then move on. I mean, HSC and South Africa, we collaborated a few years back, and I understand there are other bilateral cooperations that happen, but at a BRICS level, perhaps the idea of having 1 or 2 common initiatives that we could all collectively contribute, I think for me that will be much more helpful in strengthening and taking forward the cooperation.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a good idea. We started even already discussing it with our Brazilian colleagues, with Chinese, Iranian colleagues a couple of weeks ago in Brazil when our colleagues organized their event there. Okay, thank you very much, Mulungisi. Thank you, Precious. So our next presentation, I don't know if Lick is with us. If you hear us, Okay, maybe a bit later, because I called him. He will join us soon. So let's go on. Our next presentation will be made by our Brazilian friend Fernando Rizzo, president of the Center for Management and Strategic Studies, CGE, from Brazil. So Fernando, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, Brazil. Good afternoon for all of you. First of all, thank you for invitation, Alexander. Just mentioning about the suggestion you gave, as we discussed here a few weeks ago, one joint initiative. I think that you are trying to do this with the survey you have been putting together on AI. And I think there are other things that we can even think like a book. You mentioned something about this collective experience between these BRIC countries on Foresight. And so what I'm going to present here, and Marcelo Paiva is with me, he will help us. Marcelo, can you please put the, yes. Okay, so what I'm going to plan to do is to focus on these two areas which we've covered during our recent BRICS workshop here in Brasilia, focusing on artificial intelligence and climate change. As you know, we are right now having the COP30 in Belém, in Brazil, and I have been there for the first days, and it's quite busy. And it's quite interesting because it's the first time that a city like Belém gets so many people together, and so several problems are also surfacing. But anyway, the idea would be to talk about some of this research landscape in Brazil, we're using as a focus the artificial intelligence and climate change. Okay, and so first of all, we could see that right now there is a low production of foresight studies on these two themes. There is a high concentration in agriculture, nanotechnology, and health. So some of our companies on these areas, like Embrapa in the agricultural center and Fiocruz in the health centers, are really very strong. But we don't have like a network. And so something that we are planning to build during the next years is to have some cooperation inside Brazil among so different states that have been doing future studies. So as we saw in previous presentations here today, we still have this problem of research conducted in silos. So we don't have too much integration. And it was very interesting to learn that this is not a problem just in Brazil. I think that's something similar to many countries. So we were looking for some opportunities to bridge some studies, for instance, in agriculture with climate crisis, to do research together. And so regarding the methodological preference of Brazilian scholars, we have been focusing on bibliometrics, some systematic literature reviews, and case studies. Also some significant focus on methodological justification and comparison. So it's like regarding the framework of the country, we have these isolated people doing very good work, but without much integration. Please, the next one. So just to show some of these key research themes which you have been following, and probably your colleague from AGSC has also covered some of the studies we've been doing in Brazil. So first in governance and decision making, we have this AI augmented anticipatory governance and inverse roles in policy influence, strategic intelligence systems in public administration, is the case of Embrapa, with focus on agriculture. In terms of emerging technologies and methods, we have big data and machine learning integration in foresight studies, with some concern about data literacy and potential biased results. multi-criteria decision-making, and prospective structural analysis. Regarding energy agricultural nexus, we have a corn to ethanol production in the Brazilian Amazon. As you know, Brazil also has been doing a lot of use of sugarcane, which is our main production of ethanol, but recently they have also been doing some work on corn. Some energy scenarios and low carbon pathways for Brazil, and renewable energy innovation, biomass, wind, and hydropower. As you know, Brazil has a very comfortable situation. More than 90% of our energy matrix comes from renewable energy. We have urban and environmental systems, so smart and sustainable city challenges. Food, energy, water, the fuel nexus, governance in peri-urban regions, and the SDG prioritization and the agenda for 2030 implementation frameworks. The next one, please. So just to show some of books that have been produced in Brazil, some of them by IPEA, which is our economic analysis system company. This was 2017. We have the one on scenarios for 2045, which is underway. It's just been doing right now, looking at some scenarios. And there was also that is still on preparation on mega attendance for Brazil 2050 with the Ministry of Planning. During our workshop a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to have these two studies described for the people who are here. So the next one. Please, the next slide. Yeah. So just example of some ongoing research in Brazilian foresight groups. We have a group in the Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul on AI foresight process, digital transformation, and strategic intelligence in public management. We have a study in PUC at São Paulo. There is a nuclear future studies. They are working at the Millennium Project Brazil Node for future cities. You have a group also from São Paulo, the University of UNESCO, for prospective scenarios. And so they are working on future of public universities and science 2040, and also some work on defense cooperation. We have the Lab of the Future at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. So they will work at future of work and automation, crowdsourcing platform, science and 2030 agenda, gender equality in STEM, disruptive technology observatory, and citizen participation tools. And finally, another one, UCS Sitting Living Lab, which is for Geo AI, for urban gardens optimization, AI and citizen science for urban decarbonization, disinformation monitoring, territory-based engagement, for climate resilience governance. So, regards some labs who do research on AI, we have this one in the Amazon. It's interesting because I have several studies on that north part of Brazil, of course, because of the Amazon. And so I have here a list. I'm not going to describe it because we have also interest of time, not going through too much in details. But all this information will be available for everyone. We have a laboratory for national scientific computing, which has now is buying a very strong supercomputer, and so is an area that Brazil is looking with much care. And we have also the AI Center for Renewable Energy, who look for wind, solar, biomass, and energy forecasting, and also have reducing green hydrogen uncertainties, and so on. And finally, an ICT research group in the Amazon. So it's called SA Tech 4.0. So as I said on in Brazil, more information you can have available in our site. And so the next one, I'm going to now pass the word to Marcelo. Please, Marcelo, the next one.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Mr.
Please,
Thank you,
there is
Rizzo.
some-
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So, Marcelo, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we can hear you very well. Please
Okay,
go,
okay.
go ahead, Marcelo.
So, hi everyone. As Rizzo just mentioned, I'm gonna do part of the presentation. And today I'm gonna start presenting our Observatory of Science, Technology, and Innovation, which I work here in CGE since 2018. And those are the main objectives of this observatory, which is identifies key research strengths and trends in Brazil and globally, also to promote international partnership for evidence-based solutions, builds a national network of STI competences, also maps projects advancing in the UN SDGs, and also strengthens local capacities and informed decision making. This is a video. I don't know if it's going to work to show you. I'm gonna try. That shows a little what we are working here in Brazil, in our observatory. We are trying to map the Brazilian science in order to identify its own major clusters of scientific agenda, how that develops in time, and what new competencies we are forming, and how can we identify trends that might be useful for the future. Those circles that you are looking here identifies some clusters of the Brazilian science during the period of 2018 to 2020. And each year we do an update of that network in order to see what have changed in time year by year. So we can see some new clusters and some clusters that might is dividing into two different clusters. And inside that framework, we are also working in a different study, and this is what I'm going to present you today, related to climate intelligence tracking. So right now, it's a on-progress work. We are trying to identify how BRICS cooperate into this field of climate intelligence. And these are the main results that we are looking right now. It's going to be a paper in the future. We think that within 2 months, we are going to launch this paper, this document of these manners. And here you can see in the graphic the count of the papers for each BRICS nation, and not only BRICS nation, but also any country that is right now producing articles in that field, in climate intelligence. So you can see that the leading country is China, followed by United States. And then you can see India in the 3rd place and Germany in the 4th. And right now, I just put some BRICS countries that they are in the line. So the first one is Iran in 11th position, Saudi Arabia and Brazil. So we see the importance of working together in that so strategic field related to intelligence, artificial intelligence, and deep learning and machine learning related to the applications on the climate tracking. And we identify around 30,000 scientific articles on that field between 2022 and 2025. And I think I should highlight that the publications on that field nearly doubled from 5,626 in papers in 2022 to 219 papers in 2025, reflecting the rising global interest in scientific and analytical solutions for climate challenges. And this is another visualization that we are working on that tries to identify how the areas of knowledge are being intertwined in that field. Which are the areas that are most related to the publications on the climate intelligence? And you can see in the graphic that ecology and environmental science is the area that published the most on that field, followed by engineering, and then methodology, geology, science technology, computer science, energy and fuels, remote sensing, water resources, and image science. Those are the areas from Web of Science 3. And on the blue, you can see the papers that were produced on the whole period. We are looking here from 2022 to 2025. And in the blue bar, you can see the global production. And in the orange bar, you can see the BRICS production. And you can see that each year, during this period, in every area, BRICS produced around 50% of the global production on that field. But we need to separate China, that is the leading country, from the other BRICS country. And this, you can see the difference in the lines, okay? So in the purple line is the share of the BRICS in that field of the publications on climate intelligence with China, and with the line in green is without China. And you can see that this share is lower when we not consider the China production, even though you can see some difference that I think is really interesting to acknowledge, like the water resources. We still have like the share of 30% of the production on that field, even though we are not counting China in that share. So this is something that we are working here in Brazil right now to identify the difference between the production on the multiple fields related to climate intelligence, looking to the BRICS cooperation itself. So moving on, these are our conclusion remarks. So we can see, as Rizzo already mentioned, that we have a promising space for foresight applications in artificial intelligence and climate nexus, sustainability, climate change, renewable energy, resilience, adaptation. We also need to establish research groups in IE and climate rarely interface directly with foresight, so we must foster the intertwining between foresight and those fields. And we have a huge potential for future interdisciplinary collaborations. And the graphic that I just show you emphasize this in a great view, because we have a lot of different areas that are related with climate and are related with artificial intelligence. We just need to foster the potential for future collaborations. And I think the strategic role for CGE Foresight is to convening and mobilization the field, the actors, the stakeholders, also connecting the researchers, fostering collaboration, as I just mentioned, enable cross-cutting initiatives from impact to public policy, breaking the silos, and also to develop bridges that can put together the research domains to unlock some great opportunities and synergy between the countries. So this is it. I think within 1 month I have the paper already done to share with you, but I'm sure that we can share the presentation before. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Fernando. Thank you, Marcelo. Any questions from the audience? So much information. Yeah. I just wanted to tell you that really I was very much impressed when I was in Brazil, how much you are able to do with a very few very small amount of resources, I must say. So, and I guess this Brazilian experience might be definitely shared, because you have foresight hubs in very different institutions, and it really is a very good background I guess, to study maybe more substantial national studies in science, technology, innovation as a whole, and probably in some individual fields like AI or sustainable development, whatever. So, thank you very much for your contribution. I get risk from Egyptian Science, Technology, Innovation Observatory, Academy of Scientific Research and Technology from Egypt. It will be devoted to future policy options for enhancing Egyptian universities' role in climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. So, Mohammed, please, the floor is yours. Please go ahead. Only if you could make it full screen. Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Alexander. I'm very happy to be with you. Actually, today I will present some of our work regarding to climate change. It is for future policies options for enhancing Egyptian university role in climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. Actually, our work aims to explore and propose the policy framework that can improve the role of Egyptian university in climate change, adaptation, and mitigation efforts, and to identify the potential contribution of Egyptian university toward the research and education and the community engagement to mitigation the climate change, and also finally to develop a set of future policies options can be used in university. Actually, the climate change impact in Egypt is classified as the fifth most affected country globally in terms of climate change impact on urban area, GDP, and the natural resource. And Egypt faces environmental challenges such as salt water, shorelines erosion, and soil salinity. And climate change increase crop evaporation needs and can lead to reduced yield and many effects of Egypt due to the climate change. And Egypt, according to the climate policy, climate change performance index is located as medium to low country affected by climate change. Actually, there is more literature review about the effect of climate change in Egypt, and especially the change in water related to parameter in 2050 for Egypt, like for percentage of Nile River flow and the change at entrance of Nasser Lake at the south of Egypt, which the river flow change of minus 25% to 14 according to GSMs, and also for air temperature rise 4 degrees in Cairo and 3.1 to 4.7 in rest of Egypt, and perception change of minus 20% in West Egypt, and open water evaporation changes also at Nasser Lake. And all of this, if projection for the effect of climate change in water, in agriculture, and also in people should be facing or should be dealing with the futures policy can be deal and can be preparation and be ready in university and research institution in Egypt. And in Egypt, we have current climate change effort in Egyptian university for some interdisciplinary research collaboration, integration of climate change study in university, but in not like in all curriculum, but in some curriculum. We have active research and development on climate change topics according to the number of papers published from a researcher, and offer specialized program in environmental study and climate change, and some international collaboration and partnership in climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. And based on the publication of Scopus, the top Egypt is the present from the top 5 African country by scholar output in climate change. And also, if we're going to the university publication of university in Egypt, the publication activity in the field of climate action is SDG 13 from 2013-2020 22 for the top 10 productive Egyptian. We can find Cairo University, then Alexandria, then Zakazig, then Ain Shams University. So we have some effort done in university and research institution, and the main challenge to find what is the key topics for research done in the climate change in university, and based on that we can create or we can propose or forecast the policy, future policy for climate change. Some main topics in university regarding to carbon dioxide, global warming, energy, environmental impact, and also climate change. And we have many collaboration with Egypt and Saudi Arabia, India, United Kingdom, Germany, United Arab Emirates, United States, and all Russia, and many country or many Egyptian researchers cooperate with different researchers from worldwide in the climate change. So we have like critical mass for number of researchers and research to work on the mitigation for climate change. So our methodology focused on to study and design from literature review, and by engage the stakeholders through a series of workshops, and a number of stakeholder workshops were held with university researcher, undergraduate and the pre-university student, and some non-academic stakeholder to engage all stakeholders in proposed the future policy, and also to proposed workshop was to receive the direct input of the rules and the challenges and the opportunity of the importance for university to engage with the climate change. We have 5 policy options. The first one, enhancing research and innovation. Second one, integration, climate change education. The third, strengthening community engagement. And fourth, fostering partnership and collaboration. And the last one, securing funding and resource. And every policy options have two policy options from the main policy, like for integration climate change education policy, we have climate topics and exiting courses, and also specialized climate degree. And every policy options have objective, and we have opportunity and also threats for applying of this policy option. For example, the policy option 1 for enhancing research and innovation, this policy object or says policy option objective is to advance the university capacity to address climate change by fostering cutting-edge research and promoting interdisciplinary collaboration. And we have 2 small or integrating policy option from the main policy option. Is the first one, or we can say like instrument, the specialized research centers, or building some specialized research center in university to mitigation and work on research for climate change. And this can be find some of opportunity. They can attract leading Egyptian scientists and researchers from Arab or African country. And also these centers can serve as hub for national and international collaboration, but threats can be centers require high initial cost, and also there is a risk for diverting resources from other department or academic program. And the second one, interdisciplinary research involving opportunity involving diverse social, economic, environmental, and technological factors, while threats exist in resistance from traditional academic structure and department boundary, hindering collaboration and integration. For the policy options 2, for integration, climate change, and education, the goal is to capable of producing an empowered body of study of students equipped with the knowledge and the skill necessary in confronting the challenge brought about by climate change head-on and align them for careers that are climate related. The opportunity for the climate topics in exiting course instrument from this policy is to provide comprehensive education that link climate issue to various academic subjects and to develop critical thinking, analytical, and problem solving skills. And threats exist in requires a significant resource to develop and maintain program, including hiring specialized faculties, creating new courses, and investing in infrastructure. And also for specializing climate degree program, the opportunity exists in attracting students for environmental issue and increasing enrollment rate and the diversity. And also graduation can make significant local and global impact, while threats for faculty training and curriculum development can be time consuming and costly. The options number 3 is strengthening community engagement to increase the university role as critical community member in contributing toward significant social issue through active involvement of the wider community. And this policy option composed of two. The first one is university-led public awareness companies, and the opportunity exists in strengthening relation between the university and the community and encourage community level participated in climate change, while threats exist in difficulty in accurately measuring the impact of the campaign and the need team to and the resources to maintain awareness this initiative. And the second part from this policy option is partnership with the private non-profit institution, NGO, while the opportunity providing capacity building opportunity through training, workshop, and hand-on experience, while threats exist in managing partnership and coordinating effort between various stakeholders can be time consuming and also required strong leadership and organization skill to ensure effective collaboration. The policy option number 4 for aim to strengthen the research capacity and international standing of the university through building of a strategy links with the foreign institution and the public-private partnership. This can be applied through alliance with international institution, and the opportunity exists with provides access to diverse funding source and advanced technology, enhancing the university capacity for innovation research and practical application, while threats exist for misalign of goals as private entity may going to profit over sustainability. And the second one from this policy option is the public-private partnership, and the opportunity exists in access to diverse financial resources by leveraging public-private partnership and accelerating the implementation of research finding to enhancing the practical application for climate solution, and while threats for challenging the university ability to effectively engage the private sector. And the last one for policy option is to securing funding and resourcing for research done in university and research institution, and also to develop measure plan to of action against or mitigation the climate change as well as to implement them, and composed of lobby or creating lobby for government funding, and the opportunity exists in long-term and predictable funding facility, significant investment in sustainability, in-depth research and the community engagement, and the risk exists in changing policy direction, which can affect the security and continuity of financing. And the last one is to create climate change fund, and this fund can be supported from government and supported from NGO and supported from industry. And the opportunity of this policy is to establish it. The fund demonstrated the commitment of university to social responsibility and to mitigation for climate change, while threats exist in navigation complex administration process within university, and external bodies may slow down the fund implementation and efficiency. Thank you, and I hope to present some of our work from future policies option for enhancing university rules to mitigation and adaptation for climate change. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Any questions from the audience? No, not yet. I have a question. Thank you very much. It's what I like in your presentation, that really your foresight is not just a kind of a report, but you have real options for policies. My question is, if the government bodies adopted some of your recommendations already, or maybe it's just on the way, and what did they discuss with you for potential options when during the foresight exercise?
Yeah, yes, actually we have like when we are planning to make the policy option, we have make some future impact, and we name the future impact like opportunity. Yes, and sometimes those threats. So we have like wild card exist in threats, and we have forecasting opportunity for renamed as opportunity. For each policy, we make some forecasting opportunity, and also for the wild carding if the government didn't apply or the university didn't adopt our policy to in research and development.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any ideas how BRICS might be of help to further develop your capacities in your national foresight programs?
Yeah, yes. Actually, you mean the BRICS? Yes.
BRICS, yeah.
Yes. Actually, this is like a series of our publication, because the first one is talking about the collaboration between Egypt and the BRICS country. And so I think it is a great opportunity for BRICS country to cooperate in the field of climate change, because as I'm present for the network between Egypt and different country, we can find the mutual collaboration between Egypt and Russia and the Brazil, and also South Africa and the most of BRICS country. And I think this is a strong point, and we can build on it to collaborate. But the type of collaboration between the BRICS should be like going to find like a fund for or joint fund for some research in BRICS regarding to the climate change, and regarding to circular economy and circular blue economy, and different research toward to mitigation and adaptation for climate change.
Okay, thank you very much. For Science and Technology Studies, Shahid Beheshti University, Iran. So you're with us. Please, Kirash, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Thank you. Just make it full screen if possible, okay?
Is it okay now?
Not yet full screen. Oh, now it's fine. Great.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share our activities at Iran National Science and Technology Foresight Program. Okay, what I'm going to do in the next 15 minutes is to briefly provide you with an overview of what we're doing in the Iran's National Science and Technology Foresight Program. Our program was, of course, before this program, we had several attempts to conduct foresight activities, but it wasn't concentrated. Then in 2015, the cabinet passed a decree at which tasked Vice Presidency for Science, Technology, and Knowledge-Based Economy to establish a permanent secretariat for science and technology foresight. In that decree, what we were mandated was to enhance policy intelligence, of course, mainly in science and technology areas, science and technology priorities. Then to help in priority setting at the national and sectoral level, and then helping firms to enhance their business intelligence. Of course, we paid more attention to the first two. We didn't forget the third one, but up to now, policy intelligence and priority setting have been of more importance to us. If I want to tell a brief timeline of our activities, first we decided what we're going to do, what would be the structure of our secretariat. Then gradually we started to raise the awareness of future among experts, then policymakers, and more recently among citizens. The more formal foresight activities of our secretariat began from 2018, 2019, and in the past 2 or 3 years, we conducted a national Delphi and several sectoral Delphi, and which I'm going to explain a little bit. Okay. If I want to outline the main area of our program the S&T Foresight program, I would say we in action, because our mandate was something very broad, but on the ground, what we're doing is first we promote future awareness. Then we try to first study and do foresight at thematic or sectoral at the sectoral level. Then more recently, in the past 3 years, we try to use foresight to find technological solution to national challenges. This is where I think we have common problems in BRICS countries. All of us, more or less, we have common issues, we have common challenges. Maybe the extent differ, but the issue itself is there for all of us. And I think BRICS would be a very good platform for developing foresight activities. What I think Professor Sokolov is doing in AI can be a good example in this regard. Then we try to monitor emerging technologies. This emerging technology, we first provide some reviews like a study report or a report. Then we pursue that report with a Delphi. And finally, the analyzing trends and megatrends at the national level, that would be a national Delphi. We did it like 20 years ago, one Delphi. At that time, even the vice presidency wasn't established. It was done by a research institute under the Ministry of Science, Research and Technology. But I think after that, this would be the second structured national-wide Delphi. Okay. In each of these goals, I'm going to briefly say or refer to some activities just briefly, because 15 minutes is not much and you can just lose the whole time if you want to explain it in detail. Okay, first in future promotion, what we're doing, we organize promotional events based on different stakeholders. Sometimes it's their students, sometimes they're policymakers, sometimes they're some citizens, but usually they are experts, students or policymakers. Then we have supported dialogue, future-oriented dialogue. Particularly AI has been of interest to us, but it's a platform. It's a platform that we're trying to support people who want to talk about the future. Some of these events or some of these activities, we do not undertake all of them, but we support, and the people or the universities or the experts who want to do them. Then we publish regularly in our LinkedIn account. Unfortunately, most of what we do or most of what we communicate is in Persian, but maybe with AI and this advanced knowledge language processing software that we have, you can find or you may use our content, but they are unfortunately mostly in Persian. So some of other notable, I prepared a report and then communicated it widely about the need for having a future day and a national event promoting future among policymakers and experts. Of course, we have a future day in December, international one, but what we thought was something beside that or something extra that the international future day. Then we promoted the podcasts, news agencies, or whatever outlets that are talking about future. This is a report that you can study. It introduces media outlets that are discussing about the future. Then an interesting report that we did was about films or movies, TV series, and documentaries which are directly or indirectly referring to future. For example, when you want to explain metaverse to somebody, I think you can just tell him to go and see Ready Player One. This would be very easy way to show the person the impacts and also the extent of advancement in this technology. So we found domestic and international movies which were talking or which were depicting the future of a technology or a set of technology. And also we try to conceptualize a museum of the future. And we are trying. It's an ongoing process. We are convincing policymakers, our bosses, to establish a museum of the future. Some of these museums are in some countries, and they are a very good platform to promote the future among citizens, among experts, among children, and so on. And sometimes they provide a very good platform for tourists as well, like the one in Dubai. Okay, the second goal of our program is to conduct thematic foresight. Notably, we did three study in energy, environment, and transportation. What we did was to provide a long list of technologies. Then we convened some meetings with experts, policymakers, to make the long list shorter and provide the experts with a short list. Then we provided, or we created, an online survey, and that led to identification of technologies, prioritized technologies on the horizon of 2030. The third goal, which is also very interesting to me, is technological solution to national challenges. Of course, this is not a classic foresight activity, or at least I don't count it as a classic foresight activity, but what we do is we try to find technological solutions based on the situation on the ground about a challenge. For example, what we have done up to now was reports about electricity imbalance, water scarcity, air pollution, and urban challenges, but in particular urban pollution. Then, based on our situation and future technologies, and also some interviews, we provide a set of technological solutions, and we propose it to the relevant policymakers. Of course, the easiest thing we do is to communicate it through our formal communication in the government and then in the LinkedIn. And then we try to target the policymakers or the government officials who may use it more. But also the communication or engagement of the foresight results with the stakeholders still remain a challenge for us. Then the fourth objective of our program is to monitor emerging technologies. Up to now, we've done 9 reports, as you can see, on a range of emerging technologies, from optics to connectivity, then AI. What we did in these reports or in these studies, first we reviewed, we convened meetings, and we came up with a long list of technologies. Then in the second round, we tried to make the list shorter, and then we conducted a Delphi, a 2 rounds Delphi, which led to identification of our priorities based on the Delphi, because as you can see, Delphi may have inherently has bias, but this is a very invaluable input for policymaking as well. I want to provide you with a very brief overview of the results of AI Delphi. We did it from September 2014 to May 2015. 760 questionnaires were completed. What we asked experts nationwide was to score the technology, the AI-related technologies, from different aspects. That were economic impact, strategic importance, social and cultural impact, scientific and technological realization at both national and international levels, impact on business, the need for government intervention, and the level of required technological novelty or innovation. I'm just showing the highest score. I mean the technologies with the highest score. We identified 8 fields, and as you can see, it was a medicine. It's in AI: medicine, education, security, trade, agriculture, service, legal and judicial, and media. I'm just showing the top 3 technologies. For example, in agriculture, it's weather forecasting platform, pest detection drones, and then precision agriculture quadcopters. And because I'm going to share these slides with you, so I'm not going to read all of them because it takes time. Then the last objective of our secretariat that would be the last part of my presentation, is future trends and megatrends, which led to our national Delphi. First, we reviewed international reports, which led to initial set of 14 reports. Then we narrowed it down to 10 reports. This led to more than 100 trends. Then we set several meetings and we came up with the final list of 108 trends, which was used as the input for our national Delphi, which was done from May to December 2024. We gathered at 1,050 completed questionnaire in 2 rounds. And our megatrends, we came up with 10 megatrends at the end. As you can see, it ranges a diverse set of political, social, economic, and technological issues, from digitalization and smart or intelligent objects and artifacts to demanding and change-seeking citizens. And in the questionnaire, we asked experts to score each trend from different aspects that were national strategic importance of each trend, international strategic importance, economic impact, social and cultural impact, impact on industry and business, and socioeconomic outcome, and impact. And lastly, the need for government intervention. The questionnaire was something like that. And in this slide, you can see the mega trends. The order is from the highest score to the lowest. As you can see, the most important mega trend was in this study was social and demographic evolutions and imbalances, on this unsustainable climate and resource crisis, which was discussed by several other colleagues in this session, which also indicates the commonality of our challenges, and the dominance of cyberspace and internet on society, and so on. Okay, finally, because this is just a sample, in the mega trend of digitalization, there are several trends. As you can see, I have put them in order, given their score. And you can see, for example, the highest scored trend was the growth of big data, and then the growth of data-driven organization and businesses, or the growing importance of mixed media, and the widespread development and use of 5G networks. Okay, this is a very brief and quick overview of what we've done, and we're trying to continue in our science and technology foresight program, which is based at the Iran Vice Presidency for Science, Technology, and Knowledge-Based Economy. Thank you. And you can contact me whenever you desire.
Okay, thank you very much. It was very rich and how to say, very exciting information. Any questions? No questions. I'm the only person today who asks questions. Okay, I have a couple of questions. First, you mentioned several sector-specific exercises, like for energy, transportation. And what was the key output of these exercises? List of technologies or some policy recommendation? Could you explain a little bit more?
Okay. A study to a study, they differ, as you know. But for example, in the energy sector study, what was surprising to us, we expected a very high interest in renewable energies, but at the end, what we saw was the continuous support for fossil fuel energies. And then most of the experts, they decided that renewable energy is not much of a practical choice. And what we found from that study was that we need to promote more and more renewable study. If something is going to happen regarding the challenges we have towards environment, pollution, and so on, because experts are inclined toward continuing the use of fossil fuel energies because they're cheap, because they're available, because they're easy to use, and so on. Then what the main message that I could give you at the moment, because we can discuss it in detail later, is that at least in Iran, experts are more inclined toward the present and less toward the future. They think we can solve the problems, we can overcome the challenges by better and more efficient use of the existing technologies. They don't they don't yet believe in the future technology, the power and their power and the change the changing power of the future technologies, and in particular, I would say renewable energy.
Mhm.
And among policymakers and experts, there is a divide because researchers, they believe this is the solution, but policymakers and experts at the official level, they may say it's very important. They may say we are doing a lot, but in practice, at least our results show that we need to do a lot to promote the importance and the power and the need for transition in these areas.
Okay, and one more question, very short. When you described megatrends and trends, yeah, I noticed that there is no big difference between global importance and the national importance of individual trends. What do you think? What does it mean? Do you think the problem was the same, or probably something else?
I would say more or less our problems are not something unique. For example, maybe in some countries they having challenges about the high rate of population or increasing population, but in Iran maybe the problem is vice versa. But generally, I would say we don't have unique challenges, but some of the scores show something. For example, the prevalence of cryptocurrencies in the slide I showed. There is a huge gap between the national and international importance. At the international landscape, our experts think it's very important, but nationally, given our context, the restriction in our regulation in cryptocurrencies, they think it's not that much important. There is like 0.4 score gap between them, but most of the trends, they show a converging score at the national or at national and international levels. This was something that we expected because sometimes policymakers, they think our problems are unique. We are the only country that face, for example, water scarcity. So we have to come up with a unique solution, with something very specific, something very different. I don't know, something like that. But in reality, this is a common problem. Many countries, they have this problem. They try to do something. They can use their experiences, but we have to consider our local specificities, our context. But that won't be too much, because when we think these problems are local and just we have to provide some just local solution, that complicates things.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, thank you very much. So So we have our last presentation for today, which will be made by Pradeep Srivastava from the Indian Institute of Technology in Varanasi, India. It will be devoted to health technology foresight in Global South. So the floor is yours. Pradeep, please share with us your presentation. Okay, here you are. Please go ahead. The
Yes,
floor is yours. Okay.
yes. Good afternoon. The topic is like technology forecasting in health sector for Global South. Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah. So the next, in fact, for the past decade, there's a lot of activity which is have been happening in the Global South. We can go to the next slide. The Global South is undergoing a dual demographic and health transition. While many countries still face youth bulges, a lot of youth population, unmet care needs, they're also grappling with the rising non-communicable diseases, aging populations, and fragmented health system. Next, please. The demographic landscape is youth dominance, a lot of young population. There's a decline in fertility. The fertility rates are declining. Urbanization surge. There's a lot of urbanization happening in the countries, and there's also migration and the care gaps are happening, which is reshaping the family structures and care dynamics. Next, please. If we look into the health transition trends, double burden of diseases, many countries face both infectious diseases and rising non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, tuberculosis. Then we have health system fragmentation, where in public and private, there's a divide in the public and private support systems, uneven digital adoption, workforce shortages, and universal health coverages are missing. Similarly, maternal and child health are hugely uh, taken care, and mental health is also a big agenda in the upcoming days. Next, please. The forecasted health scenario, health technology in the Global South is entering a transformative decade with mobile first infrastructure, AI driven diagnostics, and decentralized care models. Countries across Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Latin America are leapfrogging in a traditional system. However, uneven digital access, regulatory gaps, data governance challenges which are threatening to widen the health inequities. And the strategic foresight is essential to ensure inclusive, ethical, and scalable health innovation across Global South. Next. The scenario and the wild cards are pandemic resurgence, preparedness for technologies and decentralized trials, climate shifts and health issues, quantum computing, and the geopolitical shifts are basically affecting the health, health forecasting and health issues in these countries in this demographic distribution. Next. The technologies which are upcoming are emerging technologies are AI in diagnostics, digital therapeutics, wearable biosensors, blockchain for health data, CRISPR and gene editing. Then we have digital health platforms, like these are the platforms which are there in India, Saksham, Sugam, Abha, where we have digitalization of health data, and we have got, they are linked to the individual identity data, data as well. Then we have convergence of integration of biotech, nanotech, and digital platforms. There's a maturity which is being assessed for the technology readiness level for pipeline innovations, and then a lot of use of cyber blockchain and cyber security of data, which is patient data exchange is being developed, and telemedicine and AI-based diagnosis are the recent technology trends which are taking up in the Global South. Next, please. The regulatory and policies to be looked into are global harmonization efforts, ICH, WHO, FDA, European Medical Agency, EMA updates on digital health and AI. A lot of almost all countries across the world are now working on these harmonization of these data and technologies. Data governance like HIPAA, GDPR, and DPDP Act are like implicating the health technologies across various nations, and then the reimbursement frameworks where insurance and the remote monitoring and digital therapeutics are playing an important role. Next, please. The societal and behavioral shifts, patient empowerment, rise of self-tracking, health apps which are coming up in the mobiles, and participatory medicine, demographic transitions, like aging populations, urbanization and chronic disease prevalence, trust and ethics, public perception of AI, data sharing, and genetic intervention. They are some of the behavioral shifts which are happening for these countries. Next. Environmental and sustainability drivers like green health technologies, eco-friendly medical devices, sustainable packaging, energy efficient labs, climate health nexus is also very important. We have recently seen like what has happened in the COVID. So technologies addressing vector-borne diseases, disaster response, and air quality monitoring are the talk of the day. Next. The strategic implications which would be affecting the health sector technologies in the global south of policy alignment. Nations have to have a harmonization of data. Nations to increasingly shape global health tech policy and spending with growing emphasis on universal health coverage and digital equity. Investment focus on infrastructure, interoperability of data, and AI regulations will be critical for scaling health technologies. Global collaborations, opportunities for cross-border innovations, especially in AI ethics, data standards, and pandemic preparedness, large-scale data analysis across globe, and machine learning models for these disease states, which will be generating those data, and multicentric clinical trials. They're also to be harmonized across countries. Next, please. Regional readiness. This gives a snapshot like Southeast Asia. The strength is mobile health innovation, donor support, and the gaps are data protection and rural infrastructure. Similarly, Southeast Asia, startup ecosystems are there, digital payments are there, but cybersecurity and equity happens to be a gap area. Latin America, policy maturity is to be done. Hospital digitalization is to be done, and interoperability and rural coverage are issues which are to be taken care. In Africa, smart clinics and multilingual AI, however, the infrastructure and the workforce need to be trained there. Next, please. The strategic call to action is to achieve SDGs 3, good health and well-being under USC goals. The Global South must proactively shape its health technology future, not just adopt it. Government, donors, and innovators must co-create inclusive, resilient, and right-based digital health ecosystem. And youth-centric health planning, investment in the preventive care, sexual health, and mental health services for young population is going to be very important agenda. Next. Integrated health system, strengthening primary care for rural and remote populations, digital records, referral networks to reduce fragmentation, climate health nexus, preparedness for climate-driven health risk, heat stress, vector-borne diseases, food insecurity, airborne diseases, gender and care equity, recognizing and supporting unpaid care work, especially for women and ethnic minorities. Next, please. The strategic overlay, the demographic trends are youth population, youth bulge. We call it the health tech levers would be mobile apps and AI bots, and SDG alignment would be SDG 3 and 5. Urbanization, the health tech levers with smart systems, telehealth, and SDG alignment would be 11 and 3. Aging population, wearables and home care would be health tech levers, and for SDG alignment would be 3 and 10. Migratory population is a migration of population. Health technologies levers would be blockchain and multilingual AI. SDG alignment would be 16 and 3. And climate risk, and wherein the predictive analytics and solar technologies will have a lot of role to play, and SDG alignment will be 13 and 3. Next. So health tech priorities which are to be summarized are mobile health apps for youth, wellness and reproductive health, AI chatbots for triage and mental health support, gamified health education platforms, smart hospitals, AI-based diagnosis and monitoring dementia screening, telemedicine for poor and rural areas, remote monitoring for elderly, blockchain-based portable health records, multilingual AI tools for refugee health triage, satellite health, solar-powered diagnostic devices, and satellite-linked health surveillance system. Next, please. The regulatory alignment with reference to WHO and ISO in the Global South, WHO Global Benchmarking Tool GBT assesses national regulatory authorities across maturity levels 1 to 4. Many Global South countries are targeting level 3 stable and well-functioning systems. Then good regulatory practices and good reliance practices are to promote streamlined, transparent, and collaborative regulation, especially for medical products and digital health tools across countries. And Annexure 13 guidelines provide a roadmap for implementing quality management system in NRAs, including situational analysis, gap assessment, and activity planning. These are all regulatory alignment which are as per WHO frameworks. Next, please. ISO standards 13485, ISO 13485, which are being widely acceptable for medical devices quality management. Countries like India, Brazil, South Africa use it as baseline for device approval. ISO IEC 27001, which are increasingly referenced for health data security and digital health platform. ISO 14155 used for clinical trials involving medical devices, especially in Latin America and Southeast Asia. Next, please. The policy recommendations are build ethical AI framework aligned with WHO and ICS guidelines to ensure safety, transparency, and accountability in AI deployment. Invest in interoperability, fund open source platform APIs to connect fragmented public health private system across countries, support local innovation ecosystem, provide grants, regulatory sandboxes, and procurement pathways for health technology startups, strengthening the digital data governance, develop national strategies for cybersecurity, data privacy, and cross-border health data exchange, and facilitate, promote South-South collaboration, which is very important to be taken care in the days to come. Next, please. So this, I've rushed through my presentation because I've taken a lot of time initially, but what I would like to say, the best quote that reflects our approach is like, it's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. Thank you. I'm open to questions.
Okay, thank you very much. We are running out of time, unfortunately, yeah, because the next session will start in 10 minutes. Just one question, if there are any.
Yeah.
I don't see any questions so far. So thank you for your presentation. It was, unfortunately, we had some technical problems, so we couldn't discuss in detail. But what I like there, it's a kind of a comprehensive approach. So you look at the problem from very different, not just technology or just policy, but it's kind of combination of different approach. So thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, Alexander, for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, we are running out of time, so I will not be discussing the overall approach. I just wanted to thank all of you. And I guess we can discuss via email and via other sources of exchange of information, how we can move in our BRICS Foresight community and what we could do jointly. I guess we can do a lot, and I hope we'll do something very really sustainable and valuable next year, probably.
Correct.
At this point, let me thank you once again, and let's stop. Our next session will start in 10 minutes. It will be devoted to AI, different projects in the field of AI. Thank you so much, and hope to see you in 10 minutes if you are not that tired yet.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you.